so a lot has changed in a relatively short period of time.
You moved. You're going to have a baby in 7 months.
That's not true. That's not true.
You moved, though. You did move.
I did move.
And you're going to have a baby in 7 months.
Yeah, that part's not true.
But you moved.
I did move. Yes, I did move, and I feel like the world has changed a lot just in the last 5 or 6 weeks. Even like, I'm pretty sure at the time we were probably still like kind of like just over the peak of like COVID weirdness, and now I feel like shit is basically just life. I don't know. At least that's like my kind of perception of it lately. So I feel like everything is completely different than just like 5 or 6 weeks ago. It's weird.
Yeah, people are like, what do you mean go back to real life? This is real life.
Yeah, they were just playing in the simulation the whole time. Silly morons.
Yeah.
Little did they know it was real all along, or none of it's real.
Dude, it's like the Oculus already is really high def. It's just that we're making another Oculus within the first Oculus.
Yeah. Like, what
Which
is
is
the
possible.
difference? Whether it's a simulation or not, it really doesn't change anything.
That's
That's the
the
thing,
key
right?
point here. People are like, it's like the science people say it's a simulation, and the spiritual people say it's all a dream. And like, what do you mean? It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, whether you're like, no, this is like, these atoms are real, or you're just like, the whole thing is made up. All that really matters is our perception of it, because that's all we actually have.
Yeah, and the science people are like, if you can't measure it, then it doesn't exist. And like, I understand where that comes from.
Well, you can also measure things that aren't real. Like, how do you, like, is this, like, where can we measure this conversation? I don't know. Like, can we measure weird digital artistic things? Like, not really.
Out of 5 stars on iTunes, it's going to get something.
5. It's not real until it has 25 reviews. So leave an iTunes review.
Yeah. What are we at? 19.
But I don't know. Haven't looked in.
Good strategy to bring up leaving a review at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, damn. I wonder if we will actually get some.
Catch the algorithm.
Yeah. I remember like, I think like all of our reviews were just like in the very initial push of like, hey, we have a new podcast. Like, go leave a review. They all came like before episode 1.
Yeah. Yeah, they were like, this is so good. I really feel like I'm in the room with them.
Yeah.
I'm going to check.
Yeah, check.
We
I'd
have
be really
19 still.
Sweet.
Last one is less than a year ago.
Okay. Damn, when did we start this, actually? How long have we been doing this? When was like episode 1? Like,
it wasn't 2 years ago, because the longest reviews say 1 year ago. Episode 1 was... Oh, actually, it was. It was like a year and a half. Episode 1 was September 12th, 2018.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. Like, going on 2 years. That's crazy.
Episode 1, A Whiff of the Vibe.
I still remember, like, dude, we had some amazingly creative titles. I mean, I think hopefully we still do, but like, yeah, I remember A Whiff of the Vibe. Yeah, that was so good. It was just like, you're not quite sure what you're getting with this podcast yet, but like, it's just a whiff of it, like just enough to kind of know what you're getting yourself into.
A whiff.
I remember like, wasn't
word.
episode 2 or 3 like I can't, my dog is sick. Do you remember that title?
It was like sorry, my dog has plans.
Yeah, my dog has plans. We're talking about like how if you like how much worse it is to like make shit up like when you're trying to get some out of something. I think that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, convenient.
It's like if you're just like dude, like I don't feel like it, versus like, oh, my dog has plans.
I have a cut on my arm, and it was it's actually bleeding a lot, and I think I'll probably live, but I just can't go on a Zoom call.
Yeah,
about
I'm gonna have to get
now.
it checked out before I can meet you.
Sorry, it looks like it's clotting. I gotta go, but I'll talk later. Bye.
And I think it's gonna rain, so might as well. The Wi-Fi is gonna be intermittent.
Texas thunderstorms are fucking crazy.
Dude, I've heard. I've never been through one, but everyone I follow that lives in Texas, I'm always like amazed at their stories when there's storms. I'm like, holy shit, this is intense.
Dude, like East Coast thunderstorms can get intense, but it's nothing. It's like the world is ending all of a sudden. You hear the thunder
Whoa.
really rumbling from far off in the distance, and then it just starts instantly. And there's like it's hard to even describe, but like the lightning is very just like random and like sudden and everywhere. Like it's loud. I was sleeping the other night during a thunderstorm wearing earplugs, and I think there was a lightning strike, probably like, who knows, but it was really close to the house, and I just got jolted awake as if it's a bucket of water. It was so fucking loud, even with the earplugs.
That's scary, dude. Yeah, I don't know if I've like ever really been in a thunderstorm that intense. I mean, we definitely don't get them in California. I mean, we get thunder, but I don't know. That sounds crazy. Have you been getting hail and stuff like that too?
Yeah,
like
it hailed 2 days ago.
Damn. I haven't seen hail in a long time. I remember like growing up in Northern California, it would definitely hail like once or twice a year, or maybe not even that much, but damn, yeah, the last time I saw hail, I don't remember. A long time ago.
Yeah. It's interesting that the culture kind of reflects the weather in a lot of scenarios. Seeing these thunderstorms makes me understand why everybody wants to like have a truck and wear a cowboy hat and have a gun in Texas.
Oh yeah, dude. I get that.
It's fucking intense.
I've experienced. Yeah, dude. Totally. Like just where you are. Like even not the weather, but just the whole environment. Like I remember feeling like that. Like in Hawaii, I'm like, I need a Jeep. You know, like I can't be like having just a regular car or something. But yeah, dude. I totally get that. Like when shit's hitting the fan, you need that like apocalypse vehicle. You know, you need some dirt bikes stashed in the garage and some buckets of gas, and strap that shit to your back and go.
Yeah. For real.
I mean, I'm sure everyone listening already has that, so you know it's kind of not even worth saying.
Yeah, I feel like a angry thunderstorm like this is just nature being really nice and being like super friendly person that just gives you everything you want, and it's sunny and it's hot and the sun feels good, and then all of a sudden they have this like manic episode on you, and it's like, where did that come from? I thought we were cool.
Like, Mother Nature, motherfucker.
Yeah, it is crazy. But dude,
Meanwhile,
go.
Meanwhile, perfect weather here. But good transition. Yeah,
absolutely.
So I moved. It's been amazing. I am down in North San Diego County area. It's been great. I mean, it's just better in every single way. Like basically everything we've talked about over the last 15 episodes of debating about like LA and other places, basically it's all true. Like basically just like everything we ever said, it was right. I don't mean to ever like shit talk LA. Like I love it, and everything you expect LA to be, it is. It's just not. I feel like it's not forever. Like it's weird. It's not something I wanted to be in forever, and it feels really good to be out of the LA bubble, even though I'm still, you know, I just popped up there a few days ago for something, and it's like it wasn't even a bad drive. Like it's not bad at all. It was crazy. Like I still have access to it, yet I'm in a different world, and it's just so chill down here. Everything is just nicer. It's not so like what you would notice on of like, what can I get out of you type of culture. It's just nice. And the biggest difference is just we have so much more space. Like, you know, we're in an area that in general is cheaper than where we came from, which means we just were able to just get so much more space and value and a yard and like a modern big ass kitchen, and my bedroom is like a studio apartment in LA. Like it's probably the size of my first studio apartment, like literally our bedroom. And just like basic shit. Like, I mean, not basic, like, but I don't know. Like for example, our like master bathroom has like 2 sinks. Like I've never fucking had that. Like I remember like we would be like ducking behind each other and shit, like balancing our phones on like the edge of this little sink and stuff. Like that's how it is in those like beach areas of LA. Like even for relatively expensive, you get some relatively, you know, shitty on the inside, but made to look nice type of place. Like it's like a cover, you know, like it's updated, but the core is shit. That's like all the places by the beach, like, you know, no AC, like, you know, the plumbing probably barely works, and like the floors aren't even flat. It's just like the whole everything there is just fucked up. Whereas now it just feels, dude, I feel like I'm just perpetually staying in a dope ass Airbnb. That's been my experience for the past like few weeks. It's like, you know, when you stay in a really nice Airbnb and you're like, damn, this just feels great. Like that's literally how it feels here. It just feels awesome. And I hope it doesn't sound like braggy or anything, but it's just like, it's just a really nice place. Like, and it's a value, like a better value area. So it's not like it's not like we're spending some absurd amount. I mean, we're actually spending less with the whole splitting arrangement, which is insane to have such a lifestyle upgrade. So, yeah, it's incredible.
Are you bragging about it?
I'm definitely bragging. Like, I just want to rub this in. I want anyone listening right now to feel like, I just want to know that they feel bad. Like, that's what I really want right now.
And what if they live in LA, like especially bad?
They should just
just turn off the podcast now.
Yeah, no.
Leave a review and you can keep listening. I'm kidding.
Yeah, we're totally kidding.
Please,
I mean, we both got a lot. Please, we need the listening time. This is how we get paid.
We need you
guys.
more than you need us.
We need the CPM, which is 0.
The algorithm.
We have no CPM.
Yeah. We've actually scaled this organically from 0 to 7 without any paid ads.
Yeah, and no venture capital whatsoever, which is really a feat.
Nothing. We were compelled to say yes, but we just had to say no.
Yeah. And we have a very complex tech stack. We use Libsyn, which you've probably never heard of or had access to. It's very exclusive.
Yeah. Dude. By the way though, I see what you're saying. Like, LA has its benefits, but nothing wrong with shit talking it a little bit, because something you mentioned that I think can be taken two ways. You said LA is what you think it is. The way I've actually been putting it is almost the opposite. The idea of LA is much, much better than LA.
Yeah, I mean, I guess putting it either way, it still seems true somehow. Yeah. But I feel like LA is what people think it is, which is both positive and negative. It's like people think, oh, it's like this vibe and this like shit is happening, and it is that. And people also think it's like probably kind of stuck up, and it's like people are kind of dicks, and like that's also kind of true. Basically everything is kind of true, but yeah, also it's like it's like a brand. It's like it has a great image, but then eventually you might realize like, I mean, that's a perception, not necessarily down to the core. Yeah, like LA has the strongest brand. It's crazy, but it feels good to just be like outside of that and just like, you know, just shit is like whatever. It's just nice. And like, I don't know, like our neighbors are almost too nice. It's like weird. It's like, wait, like, don't talk to me. Like it's like it's like I'm not used to that. I'm like,
the
wait,
kind of neighbors.
He's coming up to. Wait, he's walking up to our house. What do I do?
Dude, every neighbor on the interview, like, he was always a nice guy. He seemed like such a nice guy on the news show.
Yeah. Oh God.
Not a good sign.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, but no, it's amazing though. And like the house is like right at the end of a dead end. It just feels like I just feel like I can like put my fucking arms in the air and like not gonna like hit something, or like I can talk and I don't know, like it's a weird perception that like just these subconscious things, like even when we'd be recording the podcast before, I would feel like, oh, like maybe somebody's like walking outside my window, and like maybe I'm like subconsciously being like slightly more withheld or something. But right now I'm like, I mean, maybe in the other room, like they could hear me or whatever, but like, you know, there's nobody else. There's nothing around me. Like it just feels like there's space to breathe and expand. But yeah, like it's so nice to just be able to like I mean, we were so close to the beach and stuff, but now like I love the beach, and we're still relatively close, but the ability to just like pop in and out outside, like whether it's a beach or not, is so much better. Like I can just now pop into the backyard and get sun like literally 25 times a day. Just like between tasks, I can just pop out for like 3 minutes if I want, and it just feels amazing. Like it's literally just a step out the door from any side of the house, and there's no downstairs neighbors to worry about. Like I can fucking jump up and down if I want without like worrying about shit. It's so different. Dude, something else this one just occurred to me like last night actually. I hadn't even thought of this yet. Is I was thinking about how and I guess this would probably apply to like any house versus apartments. But and it seems obvious, so excuse me if I sound like a moron for like even articulating this, but it's so obvious yet I hadn't really like put my finger on it. But I was thinking how most apartments don't have windows on all four sides, right? Like, and we were really lucky in our last place, and it did. But before that, it had it on like 2 sides out of 4, and a lot of apartments in big buildings only have it on 1 side.
Right.
And I was just thinking about how like in like a flat like single story house like this, like every fucking room has a window. And I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. Like, dude, the garage has a window. Like every bathroom has a window. Like, so it's like wherever you are, it just feels like expanded. There's something to that. Like I could never live in a building with like windows on one side. It's like so constricted.
Like a jail cell.
Yeah. Oh, and did I tell you about my deep sleep? I think I might have told you, but I didn't tell the podcast. So like, so I measure my sleep with an Oura ring. I've had it for, I don't know, a couple years or whatever. I've had it for some time, and I've always struggled with my deep sleep, like my deepest phase restorative sleep, which you only get like maybe 20% of your total sleep optimally will only be deep. It's not like you get hours and hours of this, but I would often struggle getting anywhere from 0, honestly, to 45 minutes. I'd be pretty happy. And now it's just like an hour and a half, an hour and a half, an hour and a half, an hour and a half. Like every single night, I just have it dialed in. And I think it's a few things. I think one, it could be, well, we still have ambient noise here. It's not like we're out in the complete boonies or something. Like, we're not that far from like a highway, and like there is background noise, but there's no jolting noises. There's no like, truck screeching around my bedroom window and like, garbage truck. Like it's just, there's nothing shocking. It's just like, right. There's no unexpected sounds, which I think is a huge factor. Then also like having the central AC, I think is key for sleep. Like Matthew Walker talks about that a ton in like the Why We Sleep book about like dialing in that 68 degrees and stuff like that. So now just like every night it's like set to 68. It's just like dialed in. I know that it's going to be like the perfect temperature that I can still like sleep with socks on. And like, then I have my sleep mask, I have my earplugs, and it's just like sleep chamber. And it's been super great to the point that I'm actually averaging less overall sleep. But it's just been like super dialed in. So, and then like we can see the sunrise from here. We can see literally sunrise, sunset, any time of day. We have access to the sun, 360 degrees around the place. It's fucking great, dude. It's so good. I can't wait for you to visit.
Same
Third
here.
bedroom. So come crash. Open invitation now to you.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll have a meetup.
Yeah. TFSR meetup in the third bedroom.
Down.
Yeah, dude, it's great. Even this is interesting to me at least, but Dandy, our cat, it's so apparent that even she like is experiencing the same thing that we're talking about.
Oh.
Like you can tell that she just like has more space, like not just literally, but like mentally, and like just places to explore. And like, I'm having like the birds chirping outside the window and just like smells of nature and stuff like that. Like, I think it's literally changed her personality a bit. Like you can tell it's like, I wouldn't say calmed her down, but it's like, I don't even know the word. It's just, you can tell it's positive.
Like made her more
and
alive.
It's really interesting. Yeah, for sure. Like more alive. And it's also probably just like her getting a little older too. I mean, she's young, but she's a kitten, like getting more mature. But like, I don't know. She even follows us around less, which is interesting. Like she's just much more like explorative and like finds her own spots and like will be entertained just like looking out like 100 different windows. Like it's super cool. But yeah, she's doing great here. And I think the only reason I kind of bring that up is because I think like, I think animals sense the same things we're talking about. And I think it's kind of cool proof to see like, oh, like you can even see how she is receptive of this environment differently. Like there's nothing to really like scare or startle her. There's nothing like, I just think she feels like more comfortable,
Yeah, dude, it's night and day. What you saying that reminds me of all the animals around me. I mean, I'm hearing birds chirping constantly. There's animals around. The most interesting is the squirrels, man. The squirrels are everywhere, and I have 4 windows. There's also a window like in the shower, and I can look out and see a pretty big window.
That's key.
Borderline too big of a window in the shower. Very borderline.
How low is it? The height is key, right?
It's like if I was 6 inches taller, it would be
a problem.
It would be
it'd be something. Maybe not a problem. But.
Yeah, we're beating around the bush here. I see these squirrels. Like they're so fucking like trustful of the trees. They will like dart up an entire big ass tree. And I saw today there was 2 squirrels that were like, I saw the motion. They're just like darting up the trees on these like flimsy branches, following you up each other. They're like hopping like 4 feet from tree to tree. They're like fucking Spider-Man. It's insane how like
they're impressive,
capable they are.
Yeah,
I was thinking that maybe like we really relate to squirrels. We find squirrels cute. We like watching them, and it almost reminds me of what you were saying of no unexpected sounds. It's like squirrels don't have that many unexpected movements. Like the way they move is pretty smooth and natural feeling compared to I was thinking of an insect or like moving in like strange spurts.
That's interesting. Like maybe we developed more like automatic fear responses to things that moved unpredictably. Like what's worse than a spider? A jumping spider.
Oh. Oh God. Or one like coming down from the ceiling, just like lowering itself into your
just,
hair.
Like ends up like right in front of your eyes.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, dude. But I do think like having the nature sounds like it's like it's just one of those things like once it's back, it's like, dude, how did I like not have this? Like it was like a different world. It was like the sterile environment. And another is the smells. Like
the smells.
Right now it's just these like spring smells are just wafting through the entire house. Like you can't get away from it. It's crazy. It's like it just like inside the house smells more like spring than anywhere outside that I had been anywhere around where I was living before, like ever. It's just crazy how much like there is. And I'm probably making it sound like I'm living in like some freaking like paradise farm or something. Like it's really not. It's just that how deprived of that stuff I think we were in LA. What I'm describing is probably like, most of the world is probably at least this natural, right? But other than major cities, really.
Yeah, dude, it's very healthy to live in LA, at least for me. I'll speak for myself. I was talking with a friend who's in Denver now, and he was saying, maybe I'll move to different places. LA was kind of on my list, and I was saying, LA was not for me, but, maybe you'll like it. I can't say for sure. And then I was talking to him the next week. I was like, yo, I remember what I said, and actually I take that back. I do not think you should move to LA. I don't think you'd like it. I don't think it would be good. I think these smaller cities are way better.
Yeah, that's interesting that you like gave him a firm answer, and because I feel like it's so easy, especially with friends, to just be like, yeah, like that sounds great. So I respect that you were like, actually, don't do that.
Yeah.
He probably took it really seriously too. Like if I had an idea for something and you said something like that to me, I'd be like, oh shit. Like you are probably onto something. It at least needs to be considered. But yeah, no, I do think it's a pretty unhealthy place. And like if people love it, great. But like, I don't miss it, and I don't see how I possibly could. I still think I'll go back there for stuff like, there's like,
I would.
like for example, there's a huge, like the car scene there is unmatched. And like, now I have this business that's car related, and we just did this drive and we went back to LA, and, that's what's amazing about where I'm at is like, it was like an hour and 20 something minute drive. And I'm like right back in all the places that I was. And I'm like, an hour and 20, like that's how long it would take me to sometimes go to downtown LA.
Or more
and like
than
now
that even.
Yeah. And now I can go from where I am, which feels like the ends of the earth compared to LA, and I can get all the way back to LA in that much time. And it's just because you can take a highway that actually moves, and so the distance is so much greater. But yeah, it's just better, and it's just like it's like indescribably better. Like even the beaches are just better too. Like you don't like those, like this always bothered me to irrational amounts, but like as nice as the beach was, like Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, I mean these are gorgeous, but like definitely like the nicest in LA in my opinion. I mean there's some great ones in Malibu for sure, but like in the more populated areas, but like you still have to look at that fucking oil tanker and shit. Yeah. They're just out there and they're just sitting there. And it's like, look at this beautiful beach. It's like, yeah, plus a fucking oil tanker.
And there's planes going overhead every 2 seconds.
Oh yeah,
helicopters
every fucking
too.
minute. And down here, like you go out to like a bluff over the beach, like these cliffs, and which are just like full of fucking plants and dirt and bees and like no fucking like cement, and then you look out over the ocean, and like as far north, as far south as you can see, it's fucking ocean. Like there's nothing else. And I feel like that psychologically for me in my insanity, this, if just the way that I am, that makes a massive difference in the amount that I can enjoy that beach. Like I feel like it just makes it a completely different experience of like, especially like going in the water, like just the subtle psychology of knowing that there's like probably traces of like fucking tanker like fuel in it, and I'm sure it still is here too. It's not like this is like the most untouched island in the world or something, but like the perception of it is different because you don't see it, because the water actually cleaner. I don't know, but
I'll go back to LA for like a week and I'll stay in a sick hotel or Airbnb and eat a bunch of great food and just do that whole thing and go out, go to some nice bars and just go to the beach and experience everything. But I'll take a week in LA, but not 3 years in LA.
Agreed. Yeah. I'm still afraid to leave Southern California though. And I'm at some point we might, but like, dude, I'm like, I think I should have just done this move sooner, because I think I was like weighing these bigger moves that I was more hesitant about. Whereas this one was an easy decision, and it's just a no-brainer. It's just such a no-brainer. Like it's better in every way, yet it's still Southern California. It's still the beach. Like it's still all the things, but yet it's like removed pretty much all of the negative things. So I'm just so happy with it. And will we eventually go, like, I think as we continue to move, like we'll probably just continue to go like more and more kind of like rural in a sense. And where we're at right now is just like, it's just like a neighborhood, but I see this as a bit of a stepping stone. Like maybe the next place is like on like an acre or something. And then like, maybe eventually we're doing that Ryan Holiday life.
I feel that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you'll also visit me out here, and over time, hopefully, I'll be more ingrained in just knowing, just setting myself up here. So it'll be cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, as far as places outside of California, like, Austin is on the very, very, very short list for sure.
Dude, yeah. I love it. I don't know if I would never rule out moving because life is long, but in LA I always sort of knew that I had to get out just at a certain time. But it's kind of fun while I was there. But oh my God, it feels like a home. I actually love the heat. I don't mind the heat, and it's not the heat of summer yet, so asterisk. But
yeah, sure.
I've never minded the heat, and I love how it's more humid here, and it rains sometimes, and there's trees and there's nature and there's space, and the people are 10 times friendlier.
Yeah.
And I barely even miss the ocean. Like this feels like kind of a launching pad for everything that I'm interested in. I really do see Austin as Silicon Valley 3.0.
Yeah, I see it as that for sure.
Even looking at the people I follow that are here, Ryan Holiday, Aubrey Marcus,
they're all there.
Tim Ferriss. Yeah, everybody that I follow lives in Austin, and that says something. And I think that we have a lot of these like old ways of the world are slowly dying, and these new ways are slowly being birthed. And I have a feeling that Austin has a long way to grow, and I'm investing in different. I would even invest in land, but I just have too much going on.
Dude, I would agree fully. I think that it will. Dude, you know what else is probably like the areas around Austin, like, you know, like 45 minutes south of Austin is probably like gonna be something, you know, it's gonna yeah, no, I believe in that 100%. Like if I had to like bank on one thing being like the birthplace of like the next wave of culture, like I don't even think it's I feel like being like, oh yeah, like I'll bet on that. Like I feel like it's almost like, dude, you're betting on something that's already happening. Like there's almost no bet to make. It's just it's very apparent already. I would take that bet.
Yeah, the tagline is keep Austin weird compared to LA's unsaid tagline, which is like keep LA cool.
Yeah, no ugly people allowed.
Just make sure everyone's invited if you fucking look good. Followers.
Oh God, yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, it's slimy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to go back to Austin for sure. I need to book some trips. Like I'm starting to feel like we can get into maybe our current perspectives on the whole COVID situation in a minute, but I should just book some trips in the future. I mean, shit is it's cheap. I think it's all like cancelable, and it just seems like it's going in that direction at this point. Dude, I found a crazy travel hack that I'm like looking into with where we're located. Like, I mean, if anyone knows about this that's listening, like let me know, because I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, the chances of this are probably slim, but like, dude, so San Diego is like really close to the border of Mexico, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. And the Tijuana airport is like right at the border. On the Mexico side of the border. And dude, I looked up flights from Tijuana to like anywhere Mexico, South America, and it's like stupid cheap. Like you can't even believe this shit. Like I looked up like I looked up like round trip like San Diego to Acapulco, and it's like $893. And then you look up like Tijuana to Acapulco, and it's like 112, and you're like, what God. The fuck? Like, how is this possible?
That's crazy.
So now I'm thinking like, okay, like we got to figure this out. Like, how do we just like fly out of there and like figure out like the cross border? There's some like cross border express thing you can do. Apparently, you pay like I don't know, like $60 round trip or something, but then you can fly out of there.
Get in a canoe.
Just go around. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way. But yeah, dude, I want to figure that out for sure. It seems like the ultimate travel hack, at least for like Mexico, South America. Like it's actually more expensive if you're trying to go like, you know, to Austin, for example, because there's probably not a direct flight, or like, you know, to Europe or anything. But for like those places, it just seems insane. I feel like you could literally save like 80% or more on flights just by flying out of there instead of like San Diego or Orange County. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Ultimate hack. Get them here on TFSR only.
Yeah, dude, come into Austin. Bring some of that coronavirus with you.
Yeah, I'll make sure to to go breathe some people's breath.
Yeah. Be at the security line and be like, I don't have any bombs in my bag, but I do have some coronavirus. I'm kidding. I don't have bombs, guns, or coronavirus.
They're gonna be like scanning you.
Yeah, they'd be like, put your hands behind your back, sir.
That's a good point, though. Is travel like kind of like when 9/11 happened and travel became like an order of magnitude less convenient? I wonder what travel will look like in 6 to 12 to 18 months. Like, is it going to be like I don't remember, but I know back in the day you would just like roll up to the airport and get on the fucking plane basically. And then now it's like, oh, get to the airport an hour before, right? In 2 hours for international. Is like the new normal going to be like get to the airport 2 hours early in general? Like, because you have to go through all of the screenings you already had to go to, but then you also have to get your temperature taken and like spit in a bag or some shit. Like, you know, I don't know. Could happen. I don't know.
It doesn't really make sense to check my shoes for bombs if they're not going to check me for coronavirus. Like, we just need a fast test. And if people are like, but there's no way and we don't have a fast, it's like, we just need to have a fast test. We need to have a test that you spit in the security guard's bag and it's just a 5-second answer. You have it or not, and we can absolutely build the tech.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so. I feel like it's hard to know what tech is necessary for that. Like, I don't want to claim, I don't know.
We can
maybe
do it. There's no way that we couldn't. We fucking went to the moon. Like, we can.
I agree. But then it's like, you know, if we're that strict about testing for coronavirus, it's like, shouldn't we be that strict about testing for any contagious disease on a plane?
Yeah, I don't know, probably.
Like, when I was a kid, my mom got like the worst kind of pneumonia, and it was like right after traveling, and like she was like pretty sure that it was because of like that and going through airports. And it's like, well, you know, how do you even single it out? Like obviously corona can be like the most widespread, but like there's things more deadly and less often spread that if you were on a plane with somebody that could actually be more harmful. I don't know. It's strange.
Yeah, well, we'll do both. Like, what's the why not just do both?
Do all of them? I mean, it'd be tricky, but yeah.
I mean
you don't want to. You can't just draw the line.
Yeah, but we'll figure out the line. The not knowing where we're going to draw the line is not a reason to not do it. Like, we're going to need to have, even at stadiums, it's like, all right, put your hands by your side and spit in the bag.
Yeah, well, what freaks me out, and not to get too conspiratorial, but if there
5G.
was like, well, to some extent, but not because of this. I lost my train of thought.
What freaks you out?
If it was like, you know, some kind of digital tag, that theory of, you know, have you had corona before? Do you have the antibodies? If you had to like verify that to be allowed, have you had the vaccine? Have you had it? Have you had the antibodies? If you had to like verify those things before traveling, before going into certain public places, that stuff freaks me out for sure. I think that is very, very messy.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about that. I just have faith that we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I understand what you're saying is that you don't want to have the government tell you, all right, we want to inject you with something and you can't do anything if we don't. I get that, but I just have faith that.
Yeah, or even just have your everything kind of, I don't know. There's some like medical privacy thing that I guess I'm getting at. I don't even know what it is, but just to have to kind of expose if you have the antibodies or not, even to go into a public place, something about that feels a little odd to me. And I can't quite put my finger on it, but it just does.
Yeah, I don't know. I have faith that we will. I really don't have much of a strong opinion right now on corona. I just think that there's going to be a vaccine, hopefully sooner than expected. Hopefully would you get it? The common man will be able to get it by January 2021. I would get it. Yeah. I would get it. I could take a quick autism at age 27.
Yeah, I mean, you might even get the good kind. Like, what if it makes you smarter? You start building
The
some
Einstein
apps. Like,
kind.
yeah, I mean, who knows? It could be what we all really need to build the next Facebook or something.
Yeah.
But how do you, so like, regardless of how you feel sort of on the trajectory of it, how what's just your current vibe on it? Like, how is the situation of your life? Like, what's kind of the play by play from where you were at like a month or two ago to now? Like, I can start, I guess. So for me,
Yeah.
it's like was, I was definitely concerned and stocking up and doing all the things when it was still seen as, you're fucking crazy. And I say that just because of, that's where I'm coming from with my current stance. I was, when we didn't know what was really going on, I figured I'd rather be a little careful and then we'll see what happens. Now my stance is quite different in the last few weeks or so. I feel like now I just feel like we have enough information that clearly we're being overly everything. Like, I have so much calmed down about it. Like, I mean, like, we're like walking around places without masks a lot of times, except for the places you have to, like stores. But like, if we're out for a walk and there's people, like, I'm not even barely worried about it anymore. Whereas like a month and a half ago, we didn't even want to go to a store with masks and gloves. We just wanted to do Instacart, So it's interesting how much it's changed. And then like simultaneously, it's like, now it seems like the government just wants to like keep up with their, not admitting that they overshot. It's like this weird thing that's just, they want to be consistent. So I don't know. At this point, I just feel like shit makes no fucking sense, and like I'm kind of over it. And I don't mean that in like a like fuck everybody, I'm just gonna infect everybody. It just seems like at this point, it's super mellowing out, and everything seems like fucking weird.
Yeah, I'm still being kind of careful about it. I really don't want to get it. I had bronchitis for 3 months last year, and I still have like a little bit of a lingering cough from that. So I got the antibody test. I figured out I didn't have it already, and I'm holding off on some travel, but Fit for Service is having a meetup in Austin on July 10th. I'm going to go to that. Yeah, just one decision at a time. I also think that it seems to be very likely that there's going to be a next wave of this that could even be more deadly, which I'm not thinking about that much, but it could happen. So I'm just there's really not going to be any way to get out of this unless we either have really good instant testing that's not painful or have a vaccine.
Yeah. So I also, that's how I felt too about the next wave. But now what I'm confused at is like, why is everything so fucking not a big deal right now, even though people are taking it clearly not super seriously anymore? And it's just not a big deal.
Because like, people are already
happening?
In the new pattern. People are staying home, and we changed our patterns to prevent the spread. Whereas in early March, we were living as if this wasn't going on, and we really had to change it. So there's not as much reason to worry now because it's already not spreading.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that in concept, but maybe I don't know like what you've seen in Austin versus what I've seen here, but like, when stuff opens up, everyone flocks to it. And, I'm seeing there are so much more people out now than there was a month or two ago. So much, like 10x, and nothing's happening.
Honestly, I don't even know the stats. Like I don't feel
you don't even need, there's no, that's because there's no headlines. Like there's like breaking news, like 3 new cases in Southern California. Like it's just, it's not, it just seems like it's not, I don't want to sound too like off the deep end, but it just seems like at this point, I feel like it's just like nothing's happening. So I feel like we have to at least test chilling out about it. And then if a next wave, if the same thing happens that was happening in early March starts to happen, then immediately do some shit. But like, it seems insane to like just continue on like this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What else are you thinking about lately?
I have a kind of funny story with the Brave ads that I'm doing. So
Would you like to share?
yeah, I'll share. I had an idea. Do you know the website Cameo?
Yeah,
So
I do.
You can buy promotional shout outs from celebrities, and there's a few pretty good ones on there. Ray Lewis, for example, was $300 for a personal shout out or $5,000 for a business shout out. And I was thinking about it. Ray Lewis in all his videos is always talking about the lion and is fierce and fearless and courageous, and Braves logo is a lion. So I thought that it would be perfect. So I thought about it for about a week. I only had 250 characters to write up the ad.
Holy crap.
Which
That's
is
really short.
Nothing. So I talked with my business partner and we agreed to do it. So I submitted it. And in the beginning of the description, I put in parentheses, like, I grew up in Maryland without a dad and you've always been a huge role model. Thank you. I'm 26 now. And then end parentheses, new line. I'm advertising Brave. Or I'm advertising Brave browser. Faster than Chrome, blocks ads and trackers, saves loading time. What else? Like, supports Chrome extensions. And then
Okay.
at the end of it, I just like put my email just in case there's any questions. And when he was doing the ad, yeah, man, you're in your face. I see it. He was like, "Oh man, like, you grew up without a dad. That's always tough. I'm really glad that I got to help."
So it just didn't.
He just read it word for word, and then he read my email at the end too.
Shit.
So.
Shit. Oh my god. Wait. So he just read like your note to him, and he read like the note at the end. Like he just read the whole thing.
Yeah. I actually just got an email. I haven't even checked it yet, but yeah, dude, I saw that and it's just so like, part of me felt disappointed, part of me felt embarrassed it's like my hero, and I was like, I shouldn't have put that thing in the beginning, but I wanted to thank him because he really did have a huge impact on my life. And I was just like, I definitely can't use it as an ad.
Can the middle be used?
No, you're not allowed to cut it up.
Oh. You're not allowed to just like trim off the beginning and the end?
I read the terms of service and it said in order to keep the context, they don't let you do that.
Jeez. Dude, I mean, are you trying to like either get a refund or like a replacement type of thing? I mean, I feel like,
yeah, I am.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I would like. I mean, I hope. I mean, You said $5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a good bit of change for an unusable ad about.
Yeah, it's fucking tough.
Email Sam at.
it was obviously a risk because you pay for it before you see the content.
Yeah, but that's just a mess up, and it's not your fault, but that's a mess up. Like that's just, I don't know, like, fuck.
Yeah,
I mean it's funny, but like, damn, I hope you.
So we might have an update. So that I don't even know yet, but I sent them an email today just describing it. I was like, yeah, it was a misunderstanding, and I put in parentheses because I wanted to thank them, but like, I didn't want him to actually read that in the ad. I didn't want him to tell the ad like people scrolling through Facebook, like, Sam Feldman doesn't have a dad.
I mean, it's so funny, but
oh my God. Damn. Yeah, I think it's like, the thing is, I think it's so relatable, and it is funny, and it's funny too because like everyone knows who Ray Lewis is, so
but simultaneously, it's like not usable.
Yeah, no, it sucks. I mean, in the end, it's not. I'm just not stressing too much because I can't control how this company is gonna react to it. but it seems like funny and understandable, and you would really hope. I was telling my friend Seth, you never know. People that work with celebrities can sometimes be a little weird, but I got my fingers crossed. And so I sent them an email today explaining everything, and I just got a response.
Are you just read it? I mean,
all right.
You can read it to yourself, or
all right. No,
I don't know if you want to just read it out loud.
Hi Sam, thanks for reaching out. That's the preview. I'm nervous. Oh, it's nothing. Our review team is taking. We'll get back to you. Fuck.
Oh man. We were on the edges of our seats, man.
Wow. Maddie from Cameo, you really made this podcast episode worse.
I just can't believe that they'll get back to you. That's just...
Actually, shortly. How shortly?
Yeah, how short are we talking?
Our review team. They have a whole team.
Well, that's how you know that it's a common problem, right? Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
It's like we have a whole building for this problem.
Yeah. I think there's probably a very, very good chance, as long as they don't want to be dicks about it, I think within their terms of service, they might be justified because... But, dude, Seth made a good point. He was like, honestly, for a personal shout-out, 250 characters is more than enough. But for an advertisement, you need context. Like, there's no context. And something else, he started the video being like, this one is for Brave Browser, submitted by Sam Feldman. And, like, they never said that they were going to start the video that way. And I understand. I mean, getting Ray Lewis for an ad for $5,000 is probably a great deal. And I understand if that price is just too low for what I'm asking for. But it wasn't communicated.
Yeah, no, I think you're dead right. I think you're dead right. Like, clearly that was not communicated clearly. And I think that you should be able to use it the way you're intended, because I think what they are intending is that, like, I can picture it. Like, I can picture, like, like you own a, like, fuck. I was coming up with examples on the fly. I suck at. Like, you own like a hat company, and you're like, I want Ray Lewis to promote my hat company because I, the hat company, am going to post this on my Instagram, right? Like, not necessarily as an ad. Well, wait, actually, on that point, does it say you can run it? Okay,
I checked that. You're allowed to run ads. You are allowed to run ads with some distinctions, but you are.
Well, then in that case, like, I think you're totally, like, within grounds to, like, your idea makes sense is what I'm saying. Like what you thought you could do, I think you could do. That said, I think, like, their communication sucks. Like, if it doesn't, like it should be more clear, like, that, like, is it going to be a read of this, or is it going to start with, like,
dude,
and it should have a field for, like, additional, like, notes or something. Like, I don't know. It just sounds like they're, like, the process was not nailed down for sure.
Yeah, man. I watched the video one time and one time only.
I mean, like, no, this is a great, like, you gotta, like, save that shit. Like, like, this is the equivalent of, like,
this was yesterday
in 1990. Great. This is like the equivalent of, like, 20 years ago. Like, you get this, like, coveted piece of paper and you, like, put it in your, like, special fucking box, like that. But the internet is where you need to save this video file, like, to, like, find it in, like, 20 years from now and, like, uncover this video file of, like, Ray Lewis saying, like, Sam Feldman for Brave.
Yeah, I haven't even downloaded it yet, but I will.
You gotta save that shit before they, like, remove it or something.
Yeah. Fuck.
Zip it up.
Yeah, dude. It'll work itself out.
I wish you luck with that. Yeah, I hope it works out. But it is very funny though.
Yeah, no, in the grand scheme of business, you got to take some risks. I'll do everything I can. I remember a few years ago, I had a $5,000 thing where I ordered a bunch of laptop cases and they came defective, and $5,000 was like 70% of my money at that time, and that was like life and death, and I did end up getting a refund, but I'm fortunate that it hurts, but it doesn't, like, it's not going to kill me. So I'm just one thing at a time.
Yeah, no, that's a healthy perspective. I've had my fair share of losses like that for sure. I think it's just part of business. I think if you've never lost
Oof.
if you never lost a few grand, like, are you really an entrepreneur? It's like it's gonna be like a Gary V quote card or something.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Should we talk about
Yeah.
Gary Vee?
Sure.
I think
What's that?
that
What's on your mind?
I think that number one, I love Gary Vee. I love him. I share his videos all the time to the Wisdom account.
What's the Instagram if people don't know?
At wise.tooth on Instagram.
Follow.
He it's interesting. I saw this post that he made a few days ago. He was like, stop judging other people, just focus on you. And I was like, I get it. And I think that's really important to be shared. But it's this paradox of how do you even share that if like without judging it? Like if I'm telling someone to stop doing something, like it's like I feel like if I was posting something like that, it might be more along the line. And by the way, I don't want him to stop doing this either because I love Gary Vee. And please don't sue me, Gary Vee. So if I was posting something like that, I might be like, it's like, fucking keep doing it. Keep watching Netflix. I don't give a shit. Do what you want. That's the power of being a human, is that you get to choose your actions and do what you want and deal with the consequences of them. And I can't tell you what to do one way or the other. And it doesn't make me feel insecure or bad if you want to make different decisions. But I can just say that these decisions that I've made have had this effect on me. Boom.
I agree.
Step
This
aside,
reminds me
Gary
of
Vee.
something. Yeah, preface, I also love Gary Vee. I have all kinds of random Gary Vee swag. I've even got to meet him and ask him questions a couple times. He's great. I also consume much less of his content than I used to, I'll admit. But he's obviously great. What comes to mind for me is a conversation that I've had with my friend Sammer Brax a few times, who has a YouTube channel, also a lot of Amazon and other stuff. But he also thinks about the type of stuff I think about, which is, I'll say it's kind of rare in this space, I think. And he phrased it well as like what he's sick of, and I think I'm sick of too, is like this prescriptive content, like the content where the person is like, do this, versus just like
Why?
yeah, exactly, versus just like explaining some stuff or like talking about their own experience or like any of that. Like this, and this is a big reason why I feel like I've got a lot quieter over the past year compared to what I used to, because I feel like I was like, early on in my YouTube channel, I was like riding that Gary Vee momentum. I'm like, saying fuck you to people's faces, not literally, but like I'm like kind of being a little Gary Vee to some extent. Like I'm kind of embodying a little bit of that
Right.
energy. I admit I was definitely doing that to some extent. But now it's like, who the fuck am I to tell you to do fucking anything? Like, do whatever you want. Like, I don't know. Like, even if you ask me like a question about something that's my expertise, if you'll call it that, I'm just telling you what I think. Like, don't take it so seriously. Like, I don't know everything and nobody knows everything. And yes, if you don't listen to me, you're going to listen to somebody else who tells you that they know the truth. But that's just like, it's just who's the most confident in their message. That's who you're going to listen to. It's not who has the best answer. It's who tells it to you like it's fucking fact and tells you, do this. And I'm really sick of that shit. I'm sick of like, and like, look, all our favorite people do this. And I think it's part of being like an influencer of sorts, or like a leader, people we love, Aubrey Marcus, like I'm sure he does some of that to some extent. I think he treads pretty nicely with it.
Yeah.
For sure. But there's still, like, strong suggestions of like what you should or shouldn't do. But he does do a good job, but still, like, everybody is doing that. Like, do this, don't do this. I think Tim Ferriss and Aubrey both do it pretty well, but like definitely in the business space, it's like, you have to wake up at this time. Like you have to like,
Or you have to sleep late.
This.
That's what
Yeah,
I don't
you
like
have
about
to-
some of the people that preach on like not on like working sustainably, because they get offended at people that work a lot. It's like, motherfucker, do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Like nothing is right or wrong. I think like
Yeah.
whether you're like a good point to bring up about either side of the fence. I think it goes both ways. Like like that's why like I don't want to sit here and be like you shouldn't do what Gary Vee says or you shouldn't do what this
Yeah.
person says because then I'm doing the
It's
exact
just like,
same
don't
thing.
listen to me. Don't listen to me. You don't need
Yeah.
somebody to point in a direction. You need to, I mean,
Yeah.
the real thing, I think, I would tell people to do something, and it would be just do what you feel that you should do and
Yeah.
accept the consequences.
Ooh, that's great. I love that. Like, yeah, listen
Yeah.
to yourself. Like, what do you think? How about that? Like, what do
Yeah.
you think you should do?
Because,
What do you feel you should do?
Because that is the compass. It's like give a man a fish or teach him how to fish. It's that idea. Because if
Yeah.
you teach someone how to find the direction, then they're on their own. But if I tell someone where to
Yeah.
go, then I'm always going to be the middleman between them and their actions.
Right. Who's going to be more successful? Let's think about this. Who's going to be more successful? Somebody that takes those pieces of advice from these strong characters, Gary Vee, Andy Frisella, Grant Cardone, whoever else, like somebody that takes those pieces of advice and fucking sticks to it 100%, or somebody that takes bits and pieces, thinks some of it's shit, denies some of it, and ultimately comes to their own conclusions.
You don't want to be
I think
a religious zealot with anything.
Yeah, with any of these characters, and like, and I think all of these characters have some major positives within it, but I just can't stand the concept of any of the prescriptive stuff. Like, I have the answers. This is what you should do. This is what you shouldn't do. Here are the exact things. Like, I just don't like any of it. Like, I don't like. I don't know, like even in the videos I was making about stuff that I was having more fun with, like not Amazon videos, but like, you know, videos about habits, you know, like you should meditate in the morning, you should journal every day, you should read. It's like even that just feels off to me right now. It's like it's like the more of a platform, it's like hard to say anything because you're just like, yeah, but you're literally like, yeah, but, because there's always a yeah, but when you're making content or listening to content.
Yeah, dude.
Like, it's not for everybody. There's always exceptions.
That's when it almost gets political in that way where I'm like, you should do this or you should do that. It's not the way to actually get people to move in a sustainable way, because when I just forget about all the other people, like, motherfucker, they can do what they want and I can do what I want, then they get freedom, but also I get more freedom to feel like if I feel like they don't owe me anything, then I also feel like I don't owe them anything. And because of that, I can go in whatever path feels right. And I feel like that is the seed of art, where I just start. It's like, what's music? It doesn't make any quote unquote sense. You can't make a proof of why you like it, but you just like, it's intuitive. It's enjoyable, and it's just like a wave pattern that feels good. And I feel like that is what just naturally starts to happen when you go on that path.
Yeah, call it flow or whatever. I don't know what to call it, but I think that is, yeah, if there is a path that I will tell people is the path, then the path is to, you know, find what flows like music. That's a nice little quote.
Yeah. People are afraid. People are afraid of, I mean, everyone's afraid, you know, but people don't look at that fear, and they let it. It's easy to be controlled by it.
Yeah. Damn, I really liked that. Like, I feel like I'm gonna like cut that out of this podcast and like share it as like a separate thing or something. Like,
let's just say on it,
or no, yeah, I mean, I mean, if you have more to say on the topic, I just felt like we hit a little of a transition there, but maybe I was wrong. But
for sure, I guess I have maybe I'm just
go.
Okay, yeah, we're tight. Like, I don't like in the podcast when we're like that, when we at the end of something be like, that was so good. I'm just like, but we're still doing it.
Yeah. Well, I hate that too, but I also, this is a great little behind the scenes, right?
Wow, this is good right now.
Yeah, this is great.
This is good.
But
make a highlight reel.
But the thing is that like, here's why I say that, and I agree it sucks, but I felt like we finished a thought there, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like, and then there's like a pause, and it's like I felt like I had nothing else to say on it. I thought that
feel that,
you
yeah.
had nothing else to say on it. So then I'm like, okay, we need to like keep this transitioning into something. That's why I was like, oh, like that was I really liked what we were just saying there. Like let's like I want to do something with that, and then let's like move on to the topic. But
I got you.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like anytime whenever I listen back and we're like. When I think I do it more than you, honestly, is like commenting on the podcast, like during the podcast, is like not a good habit.
Well, it's interesting. It's this like flip flop between being present and being self like aware of yourself.
You're right.
But I mean, we can even do it with this. It's like, it's that switch, and it's just like meditation. It's like when you lose it, there's no way to force yourself back into it. It's just trying to catch a wave again.
Totally. Yeah, it does break that. But I think what really breaks it though is when we hit the end. Like I felt it broken, and that was
okay.
At least in my mind, I felt like it broke, and then I said that to like fill space versus like I said that and then it broke. But that's just like from my perspective because I didn't know what else to say.
All right, run the tape back. All right, let's get a third party in here.
That's how it was in my head. Whether it sounds like that or not, it was more just like pause. Okay, gotta say something. I really liked that segment.
We did good. Yeah, dude. I feel it's
pat on the back.
This is a segment. That was a good one.
This is great.
Yeah, that was.
Let's cut this as a clip.
Yeah, no, I feel like everything we just said, we could like put that into a clip and maybe make like a 600 by 400 pixel video of it.
Yeah, with like text flying across the screen, and then like, and then I'll pull a picture of you like on stage and put like a quote on it.
Yeah, make it seem
really
like effective. I'm saying it from stage, even though I'm not.
I'll Photoshop like one of those like old headsets onto you too.
Yeah, and use deep learning to make my face actually like Mark Zuckerberg's face.
Yeah.
Deep fake. A deep fake for TFSR. Yeah. Dude, I briefly told you about this, but what I'm doing with my friend in Sierra Leone. So I just to recap, after my freshman year of college at University of Maryland, was doing this program, Engineers Without Borders. A lot of people have heard of Doctors Without Borders, and Engineers Without Borders is just that, but you go overseas to different developing countries and do engineering projects. And ours was designing a solar panel system for the roof of a school there to give them lights and plugs for like their cell phones. And we did that. I ended up, I was like selected to go on the trip for 2 weeks that summer, maybe 2011. And I met this guy around my age. His name is Bai, and I've stayed in touch with him, helped him out in stayed in contact, been friends over the years. And he's like wanted to find a job. Like there's not that much work opportunity, and he's this like he has like a spirit. Like you can tell he really wants to try, but there's not avenues. And he's been like, we've been going back and forth for years, and I tried to teach him how to do design on Canva a couple years ago, but it just like wasn't really working, and like to work on Upwork, and that wasn't working, and I kind of just gave up. But recently he was saying the same thing, like I really want something to do, like and I had the idea, I'm sending a weekly email, you can do that too, and set it up on Substack. That makes it really easy for you to send an email, have an audience, have a website. You can also eventually charge people maybe for a subscription, but even if you don't, having a reader base, whether it's 5 people or 10 people or 50 or 1,000, is so valuable. And just writing every week it's good for thinking, and it makes you smarter. So I was like, let's do that, and I'll pay you for it. I'll pay you $25 a week to write this.
Whoa.
So we make sure we do it, and I'll take 10% of the profits if it reaches that, just so it's not just a gift, but it's actually an investment. And he's hyped about it. He wrote his first email last week. He's writing another one this week, and it's it feels really exciting.
That's really cool. That's an awesome story. And so, but as far as it on the business side, so the 10% would be if he gets to a point of charging for the email. Like, is that the goal to charge for the email?
Yeah, charging. Maybe you charge like $1 or $2, and he's just at that point you're just an independent writer. I mean, he really doesn't.
Do you think about that, like for yourself?
No.
I'm only asking because I feel like I haven't thought about that model.
No, but I also have. I mean, I have income coming from other sources. In my mind, this is like an option for him to really be able to be self-sustaining, and it's an interesting perspective too. Like, coming from him, there's probably, Andre made a good point. Like, there's not that many people probably that are writing in that country. I don't know for sure, but I would imagine there's not that many writers. So for him to do that, to share that perspective, he is a thinker. Like, he's a deep thinker, and I think that once you have an audience, there's probably several ways to make money. But in my mind, the simplest way is like, if he can get $100 a month, which he's already getting, that is pretty much enough to live on. So
whoa,
yeah. So like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So he's already
at
that point, and if he can only if you get 100 people paying $2 a month, then you're at $200 a month, and it's the easiest thing I could think of for him to be able to make a living online.
Really interesting, and also just interesting how we come to like potentially different concepts of this too. Is like, what about like affiliate links and stuff? I feel like that's almost a more direct path to 100 or 200 a month than.
But like, what's he gonna like? He doesn't use the software.
What software?
Jungle Scout. Like, what's the affiliate link gonna be for? I'm not saying Jungle Scout,
right.
But like, what's he
gonna write about?
Last week he wrote about appreciate engineers and like his thoughts on engineering, and went into that. This week he's going to write about like real friends versus transactional relationships. It's just like writing about
so I mean,
whatever he wants to.
Nothing immediately comes to mind there, but I mean, it could be Amazon affiliate links, like just any like physical product, like not necessarily software.
He's not going to even have that many of these physical products. Like,
like to recommend.
I think, you got to remember that he's in Sierra Leone.
Right. I don't know much about the place, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a very, very developing country.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It also sounds like a very Patreon-esque model, like to pay for just access to words and thoughts.
Yeah. That's the goal, is that the entire product is just going to be his thoughts. You don't need to sell anything other than that, and I think that might be enough.
Dude, here's an idea, which is something that I've suggested to you as well, is with all these thought pieces or guides or any piece of writing, like, could he film it too? Put it out in different ways?
Ooh, I love that. He can make a podcast.
He could make a podcast. He could make a YouTube channel. He could make all of it.
Dude, I love
that. I mean, look at YouTube. I mean, it's definitely possible to make $100 a month.
All he would have to do is just write up just read what he's writing too.
He could literally read it word for word and put like other shots of, almost like acting it out, or like B-roll, or he could just like do what I do a lot of, which is basically riff on the same topic that I already know about because I wrote it. Like, if I read something, then I'll just like turn on the camera and like think about it. So you said like transactional relationships versus like real relationships. So imagine that you wrote an email about that, right? I could probably just turn the camera on you and be like, explain that to me. and you would perform something that had all this, it might actually have more nuance than the writing,
Right.
like because you would ramble a little bit more. It wouldn't be as concise, but like it would show some personality.
Yeah.
I think both of you could do that.
Yeah, man. I mean, he has time for it. He's got a lot of time, and the thing is that he doesn't really. I think that there's technically setting up a YouTube channel and learning to upload might take some time. And there wouldn't in the beginning there wouldn't be like even editing it would probably like be a little bit too much technically. I think that what would work is really just putting up. It's like even setting up Substack was a lot of like back and forth about
I get what you're saying,
tech of it, but
does he have like a reasonably capable phone?
Yeah, he
for
has
example?
a phone.
Well, I think, dude, he could do like
he could even get a tripod.
unedited videos.
Yeah,
he could do like literally like one take style videos.
That's
like just
that's what's gonna
I
happen.
think he could do it.
I'm waiting to really market it almost at all until after the 4th email, just because I want to establish some momentum, and I also want to. In the beginning, there's so much visceral excitement just in the fact that it started, but we've both reached that almost like the dip moment where your fuel starts to run out, your turbo starts to run out. So I want to save some exciting moments for then. So maybe 4 weeks in, we'll start sharing it more. We could do ads in Sierra Leone are probably so cheap. He could get.
Oh my god.
He could get readers. Like I'm so excited because originally, even with Canva, I was thinking like, yeah, maybe if he can design stuff for like $3 an hour, that would be enough to support him and he could get better over the years. But with this, I think there's so much more leverage in this where there's no reason he can't get 50,000 people to follow him. It's a unique thing. And
he controls the platform.
Yeah.
He could end up making $1 million a year. I mean, like it's possible.
Yeah, I mean that would be insane.
But it's
that's $100K for me then.
Yeah. What if he builds a massive audience and like figures out all the ways to monetize it? And it's very possible. Like, dude, another place my mind went when this is kind of like a cool like brainstorm, where my mind went when you said, about ads in Sierra Leone being so cheap is like, I'm sure there are local businesses there, obviously. Like there's still transactions being made. It's like if he can get readers in Sierra Leone so cheaply, perhaps he could have ad spots in the email eventually for relevant local businesses or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. I think that being in Sierra Leone, the best way for him he's got this geo arbitrage opportunity where the internet allows him to get his money from outside Sierra Leone, and I think there's a lot more money outside Sierra Leone for him to get, so that strikes.
But what do people there? Yeah, but he wants the reader base to be based there.
Not necessarily.
I
mean, anywhere.
Okay.
You're right. I threw that out there, but it could. Yeah, I mean, really, ideally, it would probably be not. It would be anywhere.
That's probably a much bigger, like business-wise. I mean, that's obviously like a bigger opportunity.
Dude,
but
I'm even interested reading this. Like the way he writes stuff, dude. Even talking with my business partner Andre in Romania, like people that didn't grow up in the U.S., even if you know English, the way you phrase ideas is going to be just a little bit different. You're gonna choose different words for things, and it's gonna make total sense. And every time I talk with someone, it's like, oh yeah, I totally understand why you're using that word for that, and it expands my own mind. And I feel like even reading his writing, it's kind of cool, and it's like fun, it's like interesting to see how people use these words. So in that sense, it's like I'm looking forward to reading these every week.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I signed up. I'm definitely going to be reading, but
awesome.
Yeah, I understand about like keeping some fuel in the tank to talk about it more later. But no, that's cool, and I like that you planted the seed for that. And if it gets to a point where it's substantial for him, then that's incredible for him, and it's gonna feel incredible for you too.
Yeah, man, that's one step at a time. But yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah. Any anything you're reading lately?
Not reading directly through anything. I've been reading the Tao Te Ching off. Just I'll flip it open, and also this poem book, Inquire Within by In-Q, that I found out about him through Aubrey Marcus, and his poems are they're written in very simple language that it's impossible to not understand what he's saying, but they just make you feel something. They make me feel something every time. So I like those.
That's cool. Yeah, it would be nice to do some reading that was like I haven't read anything like that in a long time. It'd be interesting. I've been meaning to ask you. I remember you read this book probably like 6 months ago that like now I'm blanking out on, but I remember it sounding so interesting at the time. And I wanted to ask you because I'm like looking for a book to read, and I'm like, I wonder how that ended up being. But you're reading something about, I think it had something to do with. I don't even know how to phrase this. What have you read like 6 months ago? Can you?
What were you
like,
gonna say? It had something to do with what?
I don't even. It's like I can't even put words on it. Like I feel like I remember it so slightly. It was like it might have been something about like the phoniness of spirituality.
Oh yeah,
and
the cutting through spiritual materialism.
That's it. Was it worth the read?
Definitely, man. Definitely, good read.
Okay, I might move that up the list because as I started thinking about like, oh, what could I read? Obviously, I have a list of like 400 books that I've thought I've wanted to read and haven't read. But then I was like, what was that book that Sam told me about? So that might be the one. We'll see. But I'm trying to find a rhythm here and like get back to reading and stuff like that. So I need something to rekindle that.
Yeah, I found that book because it was on Steve Jobs' favorite books list.
That's a high praise.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not only about this phoniness in the spiritual world, which is rampant, but it's also, we live in this world where everyone is fronting the picture of I am good, and it got me thinking about all the ways that you can put on that face. But I think it's just so rampant. So it helped me understand the world entirely.
That's what I'm looking for. It sounds like it exactly. It sounds like it ties perfectly into the business guru thing we were talking about a little bit ago. Like that's almost the same thing, right? Like the overconfidence and puffing of your chest that you are right. It's almost the same as the spiritual I am more enlightened than you thing. It's like I am more entrepreneur guru than you.
Right.
I'm sure there's some parallels.
Yeah, there is. It's comforting to know that like when it feels off, it is off in a way. When you're talking to someone or reading just anything that feels off, you might be onto something that you can't put words to. And it's opened my eyes to that. It's just, sometimes there is an ego to it. And that doesn't make people bad, man. I do that. I'm sure I do that all the time in ways that I don't even realize. But I think that just to be aware of it, of ways that people's, call it insecurity or ego or whatever, comes out of fear, is just, it helps. We all have a bunch of different kind of characters and voices inside our head, and being able to realize what's happening, it almost helps me just like, instead of getting triggered by it in other people, just to have compassion and just to, instead of like shooting it down almost, just to see through it instead.
I like that a lot. I think I've done some of that in that situation or other situations. Is like it's almost better to not fight it when you see something like that, but to then just be like, oh, they're doing that thing.
Right.
And just when you realize that, then it's like, maybe it was even a negative thing. Like maybe it's somebody reacting angrily at you, but for you to just be like, oh, I see what they're doing,
Like,
instead of to be like, yeah.
Yeah, like, do you ever see yourself? Sometimes if I hear myself talking or see myself on video, there's this instant reaction in my thoughts. It's like, you stupid motherfucker. Like, why are you making those faces and doing that thing? Like, I don't realize I'm doing it at the time. Maybe subconsciously I do, but it's hard to be a person. And that could be a title.
That's a great title.
It's hard to be a person.
It's hard to keep up this play, Sooner or later they're gonna realize that we're just puppets in here.
Yeah, man. We're just
meat bags.
Yep.
That's hilarious and true.
I don't know. I was on to something, and then I was just like, "Oh, good title." But I feel like the point was laid out.
We broke. I think it was.
We wiped out on the wave.
It broke at the right time. It has to. We can't just ramble on one topic.
You can't ride a wave all the way into the city. You got to stop when you get to the beach.
Yeah. Yeah. Any like new interesting purchases you've made?
Record player.
Oh yeah.
Falling in love with it.
You're in the cult now.
Dude, oh my God, I love it. Like it's so peaceful, and just you watch the record spin, and dude, now I have like I got like 12 albums already, and I have all my favorite art all over my room. It's like,
oh yeah.
It's incredible.
That's great. Yeah, I've been collecting vinyl and doing all that for years. Like I love it. Dude, it's such a rabbit hole. Like especially if you start getting into like the audiophile shit. Like I don't even want to like get you and you end up spending like $3,000 on speakers or something. But like that's a whole rabbit hole. But dude, I love like the warm analog sound, like the imperfections, like you said, like the almost meditation of having to flip it, watching it go around, having to drop the needle in the right spot. Like it's such a practice, and it's like the anti-ADD music. It's like the Spotify like suggests you a song based on AI that you've never heard, and 3 seconds later you're like, fuck this song, I'm going to the next one.
Yeah, man, it's like skipping a song becomes more inconvenient than just listening to it, and you start to realize that the album has like a vibe to it, and even listening to just one song, your favorite song on repeat 100 times in a row, like that's not the same. It's gonna make you crazy.
Yeah, and this is almost sad about where music is right now. Not to just be like, oh, things used to be better, but I love I love the album being the piece of art. Like songs are great, but I love the album to be a cohesive vibe, a cohesive story. Like I think the album is the true piece of art. Like songs are amazing, but I think that probably is missed a lot now because almost nobody consumes whole albums, so it's probably less of a focus now, except for like in the really like artsy like subcultures. I think it still is. But yeah, I love like a very thoroughly cohesive album. There's nothing better than like sitting down and like listening to like an entire album. It's
great, and like it makes it feel real. And when you just look at in your room and you see it everywhere, and it makes you feel happy to see album art of your favorite music in your room, and it's like you hold it, and it's like it also feels like you're like making a sacrifice for it too. Like I paid money for this, and then it arrives in the mail, and it feels real, and it feels like, I mean, it's like it feels like almost more part of my identity having the thing.
Dude, I'm so glad you brought that up, because like I'm like such a OCD about this. Like, so basically before I had to be responsible for like, like living, right? Like money and real world shit. Like I swear I would spend like 8 hours a day just like, like 12, like either making music, researching new music that just came out, deciding what I liked, and then anything that was like, once it hit that point, I would buy the vinyl, because that was like the the respect I could give to it. That was like the icon of like, this is a great album that I want part of my identity. Like the way you phrase that, absolutely nailed it. And an interesting resource, if anyone is looking at this, I rarely go on the site now, but I used to, and I'm trying to, the fact that you bought one and like just moved into this new place and stuff, like I'm going to start listening to records more. Like I already made that commitment, but I used to go down these rabbit holes on the site called Discogs.
Yeah,
like
I've been on that site.
Sweet. So Discogs is great because not only you're about to get a taste of just how much of a freak I am about like collecting shit, and I am with like vintage watches and like particular cars and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. So you can go onto Discogs and not just look at reviews and like the vinyl and shit, but you can see like the different releases. Like you can see like, oh, like this album came out in 2001 and the like the SKU was like ABC 017, right? And then you can see that in 2018 it got popular and they started playing it at Urban Outfitters, so they repressed it. And then there's like a 2018 repress and it's like ABC remastered like 017 like A or whatever, and it's like the new one. So if you really want to be a fucking freak, you can like seek out the original.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, like I have like, dude, some of my most prized possessions are I have like the original of the most like the core albums from Boards of Canada, which is a rabbit hole you have to go down, dude. Like I know that it's in you, that you would like fucking love this shit. But I have the originals and they had never been repressed, and then in like 2017 or something they repressed them, and I was like, fuck, like it actually like really it still bothers me actually now that I think of it, because I went through down the craziest rabbit holes to like find those original ones, and then they fucking eventually like remade them, and now you can like buy them regularly, but I have the fucking I have the original ones, and like I love that shit.
Yeah, it feels
and
special.
I spent like I had to spend hundreds of dollars on them. Like, I mean, they're used, and like, they like rate the condition and everything, but I love that shit. Like, so I have some things like that are like very particular. Yeah, but that's a whole fun rabbit hole. But yeah, no, I'm so happy for you that you like are getting into analog sound. I actually did what was this? I did like sometime in like late high school or college, I had to do like, you'd have to do these like research projects that were like really involved and stuff. I wrote about like the science of the imperfection of analog sound versus digital, and I should try to find that essay I wrote. Like I feel like that shit was so interesting. I was really trying to like break down like why, like, because the things are like harmonically different and the warmness and the imperfections, it's just like more human than digital.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like one of the things that Alan Watts talks about is how capitalism has encouraged, and just like words in general, let's say, words make an object more vague. So when the world without words had 1.5 trillion different birds and they all looked a little bit different, when you say bird, that makes it vague. So in the same sense, like everything just gets more vague, and we have mass production and everything looks the same, and it's the world almost becomes more gray, metaphorically, because there's not colors differentiating themselves. There's not uniqueness differentiating itself, because instead of everything being its own unique little snowflake, we have this one good looking snowflake that's just everywhere. But records feel like we're getting closer to snowflake life again.
Agreed. And it's getting popular. I heard that like it passed like CD sales now, which is interesting because but it's probably also because nobody buys CDs. I feel like that's got to be like just tanking.
Well, CDs suck and record players are cool. Record players are objectively better.
But record players weren't cool, dude. Like that's new. Like, dude,
they were always cool.
Like, Yeah, but they were very obscure, and now they're quite mainstream. Like not to sound like the biggest hipster ever, but like I bought a record player probably like when I was like in high school or something like that. Like that was very not normal at the time.
Dude,
Whereas
you
I
gotta
feel like
sell it now
like,
that it's becoming more popular.
yeah, dude, I gotta sell at the top.
Sell it at the
But
top.
now there's like, you can get them in like cool colors, and like, it wasn't like that at all. Like until just a few years ago. Do you have any like, not just favorite albums, but like, what is your, I feel like you can have favorite albums to listen to, but then you can have like favorite vinyl. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, do you have like, what is like really, what is like maybe not your favorite album, but like what's your favorite album on vinyl?
Yeah, man. Two come to mind. One of them is this vinyl by John Mayer, his album Continuum. I just love putting that. It's just like kind of existential, and I like listening to it. And this album from Macklemore, his last album Gemini, it's just, the album is really cool, and the vinyl's high quality, and just the vibe of it all kind of coheres together. So those two are my favorite on vinyl.
Cool.
How
I'll
about
shift
you?
a little. So on vinyl?
Yeah.
I gotta look at what I've got here. They're actually like right here. Oh man, well, so I have to start with like those rare ones that I have. So I have like Boards of Canada, a couple of them, actually like most of them. Those just feel like so right on vinyl because they're already like very imperfect and not like necessarily high definition sorts of albums. So those like lend themselves super well. Panda Bear Person Pitch, that one's super good on vinyl. I have the Avalanches. Yeah, a lot of Animal Collective stuff like that. But
Another one that I
Yeah.
really love is the Lumineers. It just sounds good on vinyl.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll change the subject a little. As far as purchases, I have one that is pretty epic. So I wrote about this in my email as like an idea like a month back or a few weeks back about like this like almond milk business idea. And this almond milk maker.
Yeah.
And so I bought the thing, and it's like it's mind blowing. Like it's insane. It's so good.
Oh my god. How does it work?
So it's basically, there's like a big jug that you put water into, and then at the top there's like a little like almost like a mini like food processor blender with like a little basket, and that's where you put the ingredients, and then that just goes into like the big area with the water, and you basically push the button. It takes 60 fucking seconds. It blends it up. You open that shit and you have like 48 ounces of nut milk, whatever you put in there.
60 seconds.
Yeah, it's insane. Like it has a terrible name. The one that I'm talking about, it's called the Almond Cow. Almond Cow is the name of it.
I
That's
get
what it is. I get it, but I wouldn't have named it that.
Yeah.
But I get it. But it's really amazing. You can make like the highest fucking quality shit ever, and it takes like a minute, and it's got to be cheaper. I mean, it would take a while to pay for itself if you're buying like the really cheap kind of nut milks, but if you're buying like actually really good stuff, then I think this thing is like probably like already paid for itself. It's crazy. You can just like whip up like whatever you want. You can throw anything you want in there. It's crazy. Like we're making all these blends and stuff, and it's like mind-blowingly good. It's so much better than the like nut milks you'd buy like in a carton. It's crazy. I really, really, really am impressed by it. So this is not an ad, but I'm pretty happy with my almond cow machine.
Amazing.
It's just weird. It's like, oh, we're out of milk. Oh shit. All right. Well, let's just throw some organic sprouted almonds, cashews, and a few macadamias in there, and push the button. And now we have like a massive amount of. It's great. It's pretty cool. That's the main purchase that comes to mind. I don't think I've really, nothing else too much.
Sick.
Yeah. Probably a good spot to call it and leave a little meat on the bone for next time.
Yeah, I feel that.
Cool. Sounds good. So, as always, it was a ton of fun. People can find us on Instagram, whatever, at Matt Loberstein.
At Sam Feldman. So it's Sam Feldman, but 3 N's at the end, including the original N.
Including the original N. So that's I love how it needs like the explanation every time.
Yeah.
It's like somebody types it in with 4 N's. They're like, I couldn't find you.
These other fucking Sam Feldmans that beat me to Instagram, but they didn't beat me to TikTok.
No shit.
So
at Sam Feldman
at
on
Sam
TikTok.
Feldman on TikTok, I have one video of a squirrel in a tree, and it's just doing its business, and then it just looks at the camera, and I got 6 likes on that. So
I don't think I saw that.
oh yeah, check it out. It's 6 likes seems about accurate for it, but yeah.
But the fact that you can just throw something on TikTok with 0 followers and it still gets seen and likes it's weird. It's strange.
Yeah, I have like probably 2,500 followers on Twitter, most of them through the ads I'm running, and I'll tweet like 3 times a day, and most of them get 0 likes.
Yeah, dude. Twitter is very low engagement.
Yeah.
TikTok's crazy. Jessica has like a volleyball video that has like 1.5 million views or some shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I have a couple with a few 100,000, and they're just like random shit. Like they're not good. They trust me, they don't lead to any business or anything like that. It's just like I'll post like a random video of a car, and it's like 200K views. It's like what?
Yeah.
But TikTok's fun. It's very addicting.
Yeah. Something that it will take like a couple minutes. Did I send you this Bitcoin.guide graph yet of the cumulative price UI? Like the all-time price history?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right. I'm gonna.
I remember you mentioning you wanted to build something like that, but
okay.
You like showed me a screenshot of something else.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, I'm hyped about this. Let me text you the link real quick, and if that works, dude,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, totally.
Okay, I'll just send it to you. And if you go to that webpage and you scroll all the way down, it's this graph, and I'll explain it. But basically, it's how do I explain it? You can drag a slider to display any date from the start of Bitcoin the start of Bitcoin's price tracking in 2010 until today. But the unique thing is that whatever date you drag it to, it will show the graph of the price from the start of Bitcoin to that day. So you get to see, like, if you drag it to 2012, you get to see the picture from 2010 until 2012. If you drag it to 2020, you get to see the picture from 2010 until 2020. So it's interesting just because you get to see how in 2013 it seemed like 230 was really high, but then in 2020 it seems like 230 is, you can't even see it. It's a dot.
Dude, I'm like dragging it back and forth. This is, did you make this from scratch?
I didn't code it, but I had the idea, and then I hired someone to code it.
Okay. I was like, damn, you are fucking like some Mark Zuckerberg shit. This is insane. This is so cool, dude. No, seriously, like, wow. Like,
So happy with it.
Can people see this somewhere yet, or I guess they'll have to wait till the official launch?
Yeah, it's coming soon. But it will be at bitcoin.guide.
And then you have like the quotes of the news headlines like synced to the dates. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, man.
Like,
I'm hyped.
Like May 16th, 2012, I'm seeing a fat spike to $29 and then a dive down to $3 at the current price of $5. And Wired says the rise and fall of Bitcoin.
2012.
Dude, this is like, this shit alone is going to make this go viral. Like, this is amazing. This is really cool. Like, I'm not just saying that. Like, I really like it.
Dude,
like the exponentialness of how much it contracts is like mind-boggling. Like that first spike to 29, you're just like, what the heck? But then like that just shrinks down when it goes to, yeah, this is amazing.
I'm hyped on it, man.
So Bitcoin to 10 billion.
Yeah, dude. It's like, even this is like, talk about wanting to sleep better. I've been so excited about this that I will even like wake up and it's like I need to just learn to accept that it's not fully built yet and just go to sleep and figure it out. But I get so excited. Like, dude, I really have a feeling that this might fill a hole that's currently in the Bitcoin ecosystem in terms of having a resource that's interesting, that teaches people about it, that's a good intro.
Yeah, dude. I love it. Like it's really coming along. I can't wait to like see it in its launched form. When do you think you're gonna like put it out there? I mean, I feel like it's getting there, dude.
It is. It's getting there. It's the most important page I would say is the What is Bitcoin page, and there's 5 tabs: What is Bitcoin, the community, common questions, wall of quotes, and how to buy. So I'm almost done, I would say, with the What is Bitcoin tab. Still have some more room to go with that, but after that, and another thing I'm working on is a animation to show kind of how the money printer works in the different systems. I won't go into that too much, but I think that'll be really interesting as well. And then I just have to build out the other stuff, make it work on mobile, do some I don't know. I hopefully within like maybe 3 weeks is like I can never say, because it's good to be it's good to like make myself want to work for it, but it'll just be done when it's done.
Yeah, I'm poking around as you're saying it. No, I can't wait. The common questions is definitely going to be like super helpful.
Yeah, and I'm also like would like to figure out some ways to make it social as well, because Bitcoin's all about the community. And dude, I have all these ideas. I also want to make it really, really easy for people to just copy the entire site and put it on their site. Just like take it, change it. Like, Bitcoin is not mine, it's ours. Here's the code for this. Make a /guide section on your site. Like, let's decentralize this as well.
Whoa.
Like, just different stuff like that. Just really, I want to. It's really fun to work on.
Really cool. What else is going to go on that community page?
So
or is that more done?
Yeah, so you see the list of people there. That's kind of just for me to keep track of these different people that support Bitcoin, such as CEO of Twitter, Tim, like venture capitalists, Paul Tudor Jones, this finance person, Nipsey Hussle has this good video, Tony Hawk, just different stuff like that. And then, dude, also like the quotes page, there's some good stuff that I'm collecting for that, and I have to figure out how to organize it, but it's like inspiring to watch these videos, and there's like quotes on money and quotes on Bitcoin and quotes against Bitcoin, and like,
yeah.
Oh, and then
it'll be
there's
powerful.
gonna be memes also on that page.
Sweet. Yeah. You gotta have some memes.
Ooh, yeah, I'm hyped up for it.
Yeah, the concept of making a community is cool. Like, I feel like there's a lot of obvious ideas, but then there's already so many. Like, I mean, I don't know, like, what if there was like, you know, a Facebook group or like a Discord, but there's already so much of that in crypto. It's like, how do you make like a new way of connecting it all? I don't know, but I like the idea of having like a social aspect.
Yeah, I'm not thinking too much about it yet, but I have a feeling it's one step at a time.
Yeah. I could also see like, dude, it could also be like if you like say like bitcoin.guide on Twitter or something would like curate current news. Could be interesting, like a news source.
Yeah, I feel that
like
too.
An unbiased news source could be interesting.
Every news source is biased.
Yours will be the first unbiased.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no, I'm excited to see that in its final form. Really good work so far on that.
Thanks.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. All right. You feel it?
yeah, I think we're at a good spot. But as always, enjoyed it. Think we should do it soon.
All right, man. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks for listening. Take
Yeah.
care. Peace.
See you guys. All right, now we can talk about what we really want to talk. Okay. These fucking listeners. Oh, did you turn yours off? Okay, yeah. That's funny. Okay. Alright, I'm stopping mine.